Hi, I'm Donna Joy Usher, founder and CEO of the Magnetic Life Club, and I want to talk to you today about a concept I've been introduced to over the last few years, and that is of the egoic agenda. So in hypnotherapy, we refer to this as having a secondary intention, and in the spiritual healing field, we talk about it as an investment, okay? But they're all the same thing. So basically, it's something that a part of you is getting out of staying where you are. So when this is super, right? If you're getting something out of staying where you are, when you're happy and exactly where you are, right? And this is exactly where you want to be. But it's super frustrating when you're not. You see, when we have an egoic agenda, which is conflicting with what we are trying to create, then we will be stuck in an oscillating pattern. Sometimes really far away from what we want to create, and sometimes tantalizingly close, but never ever able to achieve it or to keep it if we do achieve it. So let's dive into this more. So basically, there is always something else there that the unconscious is trying to do, be, or figure out. So our conscious mind is going for something, but our unconscious mind often has its own agenda. So what is this real agenda? And what is it saying to ourselves, right? And basically the question is, in these circumstances, is what will you lose if you gain what you want? What are you really struggling to have happen? On an unconscious level, what are you struggling to maintain? So an example of this came up recently, and it was a woman who's trying to build a business, right? She desperately wanted this business. She desperately wanted the money from it. She desperately wanted success, right? But she just couldn't seem to make herself do it, or she was self-sabotaging, or she was like changing and shifting. She just couldn't get there, right? And when we dug deep into what it was, basically what came out eventually, right, was that she felt loved from her husband because he supported her. So for her to succeed in what she was trying to achieve, she will have to give up the one thing that was proof to her unconscious of her husband's love. And so she could never have the success that she wanted, right? Because that would mean moving away from the safety of that love, giving up that love which she really deeply cherished. So when you work out what the hidden egoic agenda is, what it is that you are really desiring on a deep unconscious level, then you can uncouple it from what you are trying to achieve and find a way to have that as well. So if we're going to identify what it is that we are wanting that is in contrast to the thing that we are trying to create, right, then we can take it from where it is acting as an anchor and we can set it up as a goal of its own. So for this woman, for instance, she could have a second goal. She could have the primary goal of wanting to create her business and then a secondary goal, and I'm not saying it's less important, but a second goal of creating a loving relationship with her husband, of maintaining a loving relationship with her husband, right? Now, quite often the hidden egoic agenda, the secondary intention of staying where we are, is based around somebody else. If I stay here, then no one will think bad of me. Or my father will still be proud of me, or my spouse will feel good because they're providing for me, all right? Or I'll still be loved, or I won't lose my friends. If you want to create what it is that you want in life, then you need to stop choosing to create based on what other people think or based on what you will get from them. This has to just be about what you want. So this is the truth behind manifesting. It has to be a true choice on what you want, not because you're trying to escape something. Not because of this egoic agenda. When you are basing your worth on what someone else thinks, then you end up recreating that again and again, often in a limiting way. So I have a hypothesis that I'm working on. And this comes from basically some work I've been doing on myself at the moment. So ask me a year from now, my hypothesis will probably have changed, but this is where I am right now. At the very base of who we are, right? All we really want is to be loved. That is our deepest, most core desire. And to be loved is to be validated and it's to be safe, right? Because when we're loved, we're kept safe, we're part of the tribe, we're looked after, we're cared for, and we're validated, we're made to feel good about ourselves. So if we want to be successful, why is that? What is it that it will mean about us to be successful? Maybe it's because we're good enough or we're successful enough and we get love, right? Now, imagine this instead. Coming to a place where we can just step into love and feel in our body, and then we can stop needing other people to give it to us. Now, I'm not saying that we won't be loved or we shouldn't be in loving relationships, but that the need for love will not constrict or control us. When we are able to let self-love radiate throughout, then we'll no longer put up with crap just for a glimmer of love that shines through that crap occasionally, right? We will have all that we really desire. And from that place, we can choose what we want. We will no longer be choosing things based on a deep-seated lack, which means that we were able to break that tether holding us back and finally roam into new territory. When we are able to love ourselves fully, we give up the need to control how others view us. We give up the desire to act in certain ways. We can truly finally be ourselves and stop molding ourselves into what we think others will find acceptable. When we truly love ourselves, we can finally open up ourselves to that which we truly are. Now, this does not have to be the huge journey that we think it is. We can just choose it. We can choose it and step into it and let everything else unravel. So I want you to know that you are enough. Know that you are whole. Know that you are not broken and that there is nothing wrong with you. Realize that your egoic agenda has been going up against everybody else's egoic agendas, right? All of us grasping and neediness for validation and worth and love. When you stop that, when you step into 100% self-love and acceptance, you can break free of that game and start to play it on a totally different field. One where you are happy just because you are. One where you're content just because you exist. And one where you're finally able to recognize and accept the beauty within. So I hope that you've gotten something from this. I hope that you can see maybe start to see what your egoic agenda is or what you're getting out of staying where you are. And then find a way to have that as well as what you want. And then you can truly start to create a life that you love. Okay, have an amazing week and I'll see you next time.